Next, may I invite PHRA to give a talk on coping with grief. Bante, please.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, today I'm the last speaker. Hopefully, you're still kind of awake. I know it's a long session. You had some sugary kind of break earlier. I try to make the talk a bit more lively. I know Dhamma can be a bit boring, right? So anyway, most of the speakers have shared the solutions or talk about some Dhamma principles. So I don't have to repeat most of the concept. So in a way, they kind of reduce my stress. I don't have to explain. They explain for me already. So I can walk away earlier. Okay, so in Buddhism, actually, coping with grief, coping and suffering is supposed to be Buddhism's specialty, Because the whole teaching on Buddhism is about overcoming suffering, right? So I'm going to give two case examples, maybe more towards the extreme spectrum of grief and suffering. So there are two women in Buddhist stories. One is this Kisa Gautami. Yeah, she had a child that died, infant that died. She cannot accept the reality. She's in denial. Why did the child die? Right? The expectation is so different. Right? So she came across the Buddha. The Buddha asked her to get a mustard seed from a family that does not have anyone die before. So she thinks she got hope, to save the child. So she went house to house, asked for mustard seed. Then when she's about to get a mustard seed, then she asked, did anyone in your family die before? Everyone say, this uncle died, or my parents died, my this sibling died. Then she went house to house, everybody got someone die, Then she get to understand the reality. So repeating Dr. Gyok's Gwek's talk. So she eventually accepted the reality, then went to see the Buddha, eventually ordained, became a nun, and even got enlightened. So from extreme case, somebody with so much grief and go crazy, run around naked, to become an enlightened nun. See, the extreme change. So it can be done. It can be done. But I'm not so skillful like the Buddha, so don't come and see me if you've got any this kind of case. Then the next one is this Patachara Teri. She's another woman, worse than the previous lady. Her whole family died. First the husband died, then the 2 or 3 children died. Then later she found out her village, the parents and all everybody got flood or whatever calamity, all die. Then she also go crazy, right? But after she met the Buddha, she also became a nun and eventually got enlightened, right? So this is the 2 case examples. Right, so why I talk about Buddhism specialty? Because you always see the Four Noble Truths, right? We see this suffering, suffering. Right, so we think Buddhism, okay, think about suffering already. Right, so we talk about suffering, cause of suffering. There's a solution also. The 3rd and 4th Noble Truth talks about positive psychology. Suffering can be overcome. Not just Buddha tell you everything's suffering, then he walk away. Then gone. So the Buddha actually give solution also. Okay, so to understand the so-called Buddhist philosophy or the mechanics of this suffering, we need to understand the definition first. So we face all these things, the vicissitudes of life, birth, aging, sickness, death, not getting what you want, and so on. But the main thing is the last point. The 5 clinging aggregates is the suffering. Basically, our cognitive function is a condition for suffering, It's a condition for suffering. whatever we see, hear, smell, think, taste, and touch, it is subject to clinging and suffering. Okay, so I'm going to kind of briefly go through. I know the words are a bit too small. Can the last person see the words? Can, oh, perfect eyesight. Okay. So the one in blue is called the 5 aggregates, the blue rectangles on top. So you have the form, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. So I think Dr. Teo, right? Yeah, he mentioned all this already. So what we need to understand first, to make it more applicable, is to do an experiment. So you all must try together. Okay, first, we are going to stick out our finger, like baby Buddha, like that. Today is Saturday, right? So it's like Saturday, not Saturday night fever, yeah, but like this. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to point to what we are paying attention to right now. Where is our attention? If it's to me, then to me, to the screen, so you point long. So the attention itself contains all 5 aggregates. So if you are seeing with your eyes, we call this eye consciousness. So the screen itself is made of this like solid thing, right? So we call this the form. Got colors, got pictures, so form. So the form is made of the 4 elements: earth, fire, wind, water. The screen is solid, right? There's temperature, there's movement and whatever not. So all these are the 4 elements. And when we pay attention to the screen, there is feelings. Feelings. Whether you like the color, you don't like the color, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral feelings. And then you have perception. Can you understand the words or not? Because you learned the words before, so you, based on your memory, you kind of cognize what you are paying attention to. So that's perception. And then you have mental formation. So when we did this finger pointer experiment, or you can continue to do it, can your attention be at the screen forever or not? Cannot, right? You run around, right? So that is not attention deficit disorder. This is called mental formations. It's always forming. New thoughts are forming, running around through our 6 senses: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So that is your consciousness. Whatever you pay attention, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So why are these clinging aggregates called, it's part of suffering? When we cling on to something that we kind of unwholesome, then it gives us this unpleasant kind of experience. I'll give an example later on. My slide tells me later on. Okay, so this one I think the previous panelists all explained it. Definition of cause of suffering is the 3 kinds of craving. Mainly greed, anger, and delusion. So the more technical term, kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. Any feeling that we find pleasant, whatever you see, maybe you like the picture, maybe you like the food, maybe you like the drinks outside, we call this craving for sensuality. So that's greed. Anything that you don't like, maybe you sit here for too long, backside pain, back pain, here pain, there pain. Then you got unpleasant feeling, right? Then it will develop to aversion. So it's a kind of craving for non-becoming. Aversion. You want to get rid of aversion. And then you have this thing called craving for becoming. Anything that's nice, maybe the aircon very nice, you like the session here. Who like the session here? So if you want to stay longer, it's called craving for becoming. Craving for becoming. So the more common ones would be like, I want to live forever, I want to be healthy forever, I want to be young forever. So all this is a kind of delusion. craving for becoming. So if a person, let's say, enter a meditative state, they want the peace forever, so it's called craving for form and formless becoming. Okay, so this is a bit more technical. I'm not going to explain the 3 lifetime thing. So based on our cognitive functions, the sense of self arise. And because of this, then I will feel pain, I will go through birth, aging, sickness, and death. So there's a French philosopher called Descartes. So he came up with this like popular kind of quote, I think, therefore I am. Yeah? The philosophy of existence. So before this fella, 2,000 over years ago, Buddha also thought of this. But the Buddha teach longer. It's not I think, therefore I am. The Buddha teach this. So all the cognitive processes, all the thinking, basically, I gave the example earlier on. Is there a pointer? Yes, there is a laser pointer. Okay. Based on our senses, then consciousness arises, right? Then you have all these feelings and craving. Then once you have craving, then you cling. So actually all emotions are addiction, All emotions are an addiction. Like for example, if a person get angry, some people can get angry the whole day. Or earlier on somebody talked about chemical in the brain. Some people can get depressed the whole day. Any kind of addiction. So can you straight away tell the person, don't get depressed or don't get angry Can they immediately become don't angry or immediately don't get depressed? Cannot, right? We call this clinging. It's an addiction. It's an addiction. So this will lead to a kind of suffering. Okay. So how does this clinging become a certain personality? For example, just now you were looking at me, right? Or even now supposed to look at me. So what is your role now? Listener, an audience, right? So you become an audience. So that's your personality. Because you have your eye contact or your ear contact, then you have certain expectation. You want the talk to be interesting or whatever it is. You have certain craving, and then you become a certain audience. But let's say you change your contact. I want you to now think, for example, think of your parents. What is your role if you think of your parents? A child, right? A child. Yeah? So when you have the contact with the image of your parents, then your role is a child. Then your certain craving, likes or dislikes, when you are the childhood or whatever it is, then you become a certain personality. Then you go through the birth, aging, sickness, and death of that character. All the dramas, all the drama shows, many series of dramas. The mind, very good one. Create these dramas are better than the AI video generator. Right? Create lots of stories, many series and episodes. So that is itself a samsara. Itself a samsara. So all the pain and happiness you experience in the show, even though it's not happening now. So this is actually using the second arrow to stab yourself. So that is the story making. So this is the so-called model of suffering. The model of suffering. So now we are going to present the solution. Present the solution. So the Buddha tell you the end product, the solution is to overcome craving. You cease craving, then you cease suffering. So that's the solution. And the method to cease this craving and suffering is actually the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path. So first, I might need 2 hours to explain this. So I'll briefly go through. Right view is basically the person need to have this, I would say, positive desire to change. Like any of the doctors here, if the clients don't wish to change, then they can't be helped. Agree? Right? So first you need to want to change. You want to be a better person, a purer person. Must have the right kind of direction. Not to change for the wrong reasons. Like some people come for meditation class, they'll say, I want to learn how to predict 4D numbers. Yeah? That kind of thing. So no, not that kind of understanding. So the understanding, I mean, some people have the problem, money problem, right? So it's not that way. So it is to overcome our greed, our craving, greed and anger. So the right thought, down here they talk right resolve, basically thoughts of, like what the previous panelists mentioned, thoughts of non-greed, non-anger. So if you continue to practice loving kindness, may all beings be well and happy. So now you can do it already. While you are seated and listening to me, mentally you can repeat like this mantra, may all beings be well and happy. So you are doing yourself a service. You're actually purifying your mind. Okay, then all these are the behavioral parts, right? Nowadays, a lot of these depression, all these problems, my personal opinion, may not have statistics, come from all this wrong behavior. If somebody did something remorseful, then they think of it over and over again, and all the problem. So if they were inculcated certain values, positive values when they're young, then they don't do all the wrong things, then they don't have to worry too much about all the guilt and all the remorse. They remove quite a lot of problems. They remove quite a lot of problems. Okay, then the last three talks about effort, persistent effort. So those who attend my class, some of you, I will always tell you, I'm very naggy one. I will keep nagging you all to keep generating the right thought. May all beings be well and happy. So how much effort do you really need to overcome the bad addiction? We talk about people getting depressed the whole day or angry the whole day. They need to keep on generating the anger the whole day or depression the whole day. Do you think one thought, may all beings be well and happy, can solve it? Cannot. You need the equal and opposite force to at least neutralize that. Equal and opposite force to neutralize that. So this is where effort comes about. Effort. So I give a story or example of how much effort is effort. So this one you might have heard before. The Buddha is asking his disciples on this contemplation on death. It's not to ask people to commit suicide, but it's to remind yourself, one day I will go through this process of death. So the Buddha asked his disciples, how often do you contemplate on this death? So one of the students answered, every year, my birthday that time. I grow older, right? That means I go closer to death. Then the Buddha said, no, too slow. Then another student said, every month, every full moon. Buddha said, no, too slow. Then another guy said, every week, also too slow. Another one, every day, also too slow. Then the last fella said, every in and out breath. Every time I breathe in, subject to change, I'm subject to death. Breathe out, subject to change, subject to death. Then the Buddha said, bagus. This is the correct way. So this is the amount of effort to overcome clinging. So it's not easy. Right? So now I'm going to talk about the solution. I don't talk about all these mindfulness, concentration. It's actually more like the byproduct if you just do all this correctly. Okay, so the solution. Okay, this one, the title sounds like very apocalyptic, right? But no. So the solution is just the ending of craving. So all the cognitive functions still the same. Whatever you see, hear, smell, think, taste, and touch, still the same. You cannot say overcome suffering, have to dig out your eyes, la, pull out your ear. La. Not like that. Huh? Your organs are still functioning normally. It is our reaction to that stimuli. What do we think? So that's where the Noble Eightfold Path comes in. What kind of reflection? You cannot say, I just be aware only. Can for certain people, but you want to apply the Eightfold Path method. You must think. So you things like loving kindness, may all beings be well and happy. You come across something, you wish it well and happy. You see some backside pain, you wish that pain well and happy. So it will reduce the mental suffering part. It will reduce the mental suffering part. So it requires every moment. Once you stop that right thought, then all the wrong clinging will come. It's like that one. This is samsara. So this is the Mara's territory, right? Mara don't have to come down to kacau us because he knows that the 5 aggregates will take care of things for him. So in order to break this chain or to overcome this clinging, lots of effort, right? To overcome this craving and clinging. So not just loving kindness, we also have thoughts of impermanence, mindful impermanence to overcome greed, overcome attachment. So every moment you can think of impermanence, rising and falling, birth and death, whatever reflection you want to use. And that will eventually reduce the clinging and suffering. So I end my short speech. Hopefully you all can benefit. Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhante. So with that, we concluded the 5 talks, and we'd like to invite all the speakers to be on the stage.
Good afternoon, the panels. I do not know who should I attention to, but I want to ask is if a person, we see the person suffering mentally, the person is like, to us is like cannot cope with his life really, but the person doesn't see himself that way. The person is still struggling and trying to make his life purposeful or whatever, but outside we see him like very, very struggling, and we want to push him to a psychiatrist or counselor, but the person isn't receptive to that idea. So how do we make the person, at least seek some help because outside we see him like really, very in a terrible state, but he himself doesn't see it. Another question to myself is like, I was just curious, when you say sounds like hypnosis, then you look at the card, then you read it, then after that you recite 3 times, right? Then you go to a state, then after that you say 1, 2, 3, you wake up. But what if 1, 2, 3 we cannot wake up, we cannot tell ourselves to wake up, then how?
I think the simple question first, what if cannot wake up after count to 3? Call the doctor. After hypnosis, you're supposed to wake up, open eyes by counting 1, 2, 3.
You will wake up.
Yeah, wake up. So don't worry.
It will be impossible that you cannot wake up.
Okay, very good. So,
actually, you realize that when you talk about hypnotherapy, right, it's actually going to the unconscious mind, right? By the psychoanalysis part, it's actually suggesting something that deep in your subconscious mind.
About the situation of someone suffering or to help, how to help. I guess this is open questions to all the 5 panelists. Yes, anybody? First, bring to Bhante.
Yeah, because I'm not in that.
Yes, already. Bhante just near.
I'm not in that profession, so but I do have like devotees, that come to me and mention similar situations. So the first thing, or the first line of defense we talk about is you need to identify their close ones, people who are close to him or her. Could be their friends, could be their family members who are really in good talking terms. So these are the people they should reach out to him or her to console. Yeah, so we call this first line of defense, first to talk peer to peer. And if that alternative still doesn't work, then I don't know why people like to refer to Sangha. Refer to Sangha.
It's free actually.
Free service.
Free service. Yeah, free service. So I'm not sure about other communities. Sometimes people love to package the psychological issue into a superstitious one. They'll tell you, hey, I suspect he cannot black magic, he behaves so weird, suspect black magic. Then we chant, really still the same. So, no, so you should advise, maybe go for counseling or some kind of professional help. If that still doesn't resolve, then maybe the last resort, then you might be a supernatural thing. Yeah.
Dr. Quay?
I add on something. So, the people respond to bad things is quite standard. Number one is denial. So it's common. So you have something, he doesn't want to admit he got some problem or whatever. This is common. So now you say he's suffering. You probably can make him realize he's suffering. He must have some symptoms, right? Probably he got headaches. Go and see the doctor. So from that, then we can somehow relate, to that. So by slowly talking about his problem, then he probably realized that he got a problem to face it. But I think most important part is your part. You should not add on the problem. It's true, no? It's true. Because if you want to handle a person with a lot of negative thinking, you think you can, probably you can't. The reason is because, number one, you probably not in Chinese words, I will always say, 言不正, 名不顺, whatever, 名不正, 言不顺, I think get it that way. That means is your position is not right, nobody will listen to you. You think, now you listen to my talk, you think I'm a really good speaker, right? You think if my wife did something wrong, I will say something? No, just keep quiet. I won't say a single word. I will say I think what you did is very, very good, fantastic. So I won't say anything at all because I think my position is not right. So what you need to do, you must make sure I teach my kids. When they want to say something, I said, you want to say something, you better think, number one, is it helpful to do the things, to say the things? Number two, are you in the right position to say the things? Number three, are you using the right method to say the things? So for most people, I would say this is very difficult. Especially to your friends, spouse, why should I listen to you? So number one thing you should do is listen. If you can listen, you listen. Don't say anything, then give support. You give support, said, we can go through this together, I will support you no matter what decision you're making. All these positive words, you make her feel better, or either he or she feel better, and there will be more coming. I mean, he or she will be more open to you. I mean, you will say, actually, I really have a problem. The problem is, then that is the time if you think you are good enough to give opinion, you give solution or whatever. Do you know that there's 8 methods to solve problem? They said, what are the 8 methods? I said, number one, number two. Seriously, when a patient come to me, do you think they're always open to me? The first time they see me, you think they will tell me, actually, I get sexually abused or whatever? No, they won't say it. Some of them come with me with the stress, all these issues. Until the end, I don't know what are the problems they are facing. Because I didn't tell you, I don't need to know what your problem. I teach you how to solve the problem. After you know all the methods, it's just like doing mathematics. I don't need to teach you 1 + 3 or 1 + 4, everything. I just teach you the formula. Then after that, you can go back and try to work out the formula. Sometimes they work out for the answer. Sometimes they still don't know the answer. Then they come to me. They get more trust. No, number one thing actually is a trust. So after they have more trust in you, then they say, actually, I got a problem. Same for you, lah. I hope I answer your questions. Okay, bye.
I can see that Dr. Quay is a very wise man, especially in terms of handling wife's comments. Okay. Let's move on to another wise man, Dr. Albert. dealing with this general case?
Okay, I think most important thing is we have to understand, like Dr. Kwek said, when the things happen, the first thing come to their mind is I will try to handle, especially is the male, okay, and the 面子. So they will try their very best because of the ego. They will try to sort out the problems. Second is you have to remember seeing a psychiatrist is a stigma. Okay, seeing a psychiatrist is equivalent to I'm siao.
That's why all come to see neurologists.
Yes. Same thing coming to see a counselor also as well.
Yes, yes. So that's why don't suggest them to go to the extreme equivalent to siao. Okay, because seeing me equal to seeing the siao lang lah. So try to like Mama said, yeah, we have to try to make him understand anyone that can talk to. You can talk to anyone or not. In terms of your friends, in terms of your family members, in terms of maybe counselor, maybe like if let's say a children and adolescent, I would say talk to your counselor, school counselor, okay, because they are some sort of like professional in terms of mental health, so they will know where is the red flag to refer to psychiatrist if you really need it. Otherwise, for them to come and see me is difficult. Yeah, it's difficult. Try to imagine this is a Malaysia statistic. If today I start talking to self, I start hearing someone talking to me without the presence of the person, what we call the psychosis, 幻觉. Today I have the 幻觉. Do you know how long it takes before I see a psychiatrist? It's 3 years. 3 years, why? First thing my mom will bring me is angkong. Go to temple first. Then after the Chinese temple, then go to the Indian temple, the snake one, this, that. Because we are so rich to culture. So superstitious play a role in this mental health, which for me, totally fine. Right? Then they will tell me, either I can go and see Bomo, and so I say, go ahead, but my medication you need to take. Yeah, because the stigma is so strong, so when they come and see me, they are being forced in a way. But when they really want to come and see me, they open up. Okay, that is the difference. But different at adolescent. Adolescent, sometimes they need time. Right? I have adolescent to see me 6 times before really want to tell me what happened. So sometimes it's difficult for adolescent to open up, more so or not, if they say an adult with a lot of issues going on. So stigma is, that's why we want to have this type of talk, share knowledge. So you can bring back whatever we had learned today and then say, hey, today I heard this botak Dr. Albert talk about some mental health, talk about this. Hey, yeah, interesting. So let him understand that, yeah, okay, this is something that is common. Right? Yeah, so I think that hopefully able to bring more and more people to seek help, yeah, if needed. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Albert. You can see that this is what you meant by cross-talking to each other. They refer to each other from a psychiatrist to a neurologist to a counselor, then to Sangha. Is Brother Yutong?
Yeah, I'd like to add on to that. Actually, this is not uncommon. I got a lot of cases that say that their husband or their children. I even got friends who come and say, hey, can you talk to my husband or not? But actually, no point. You force the person to come. Sometimes they come unwillingly. It's not very helpful. I have many cases I think not very successful. Right? But now I'm looking at the person who come and see me. Definitely the person that comes and see me is actually suffering. So I'm focusing on the person that come and see me that seek for help. Right? So that is my focus. Not so much about telling you how to handle your husband or handle your children, but rather focusing on the person, because you come to me because you got problem and I see your suffering, right? And then normally we'll teach them to have a lot more patience and compassion, right? And also brief them a little bit more on what is caregiver fatigue, right? Because you are too much into it and then you make yourself suffer a lot. So it is your mental health that I'm concerned about, not so much about your spouse or your children condition, but rather more on you as a person, right? So you have to take care of yourself, and then that's the most important thing, right? Because if you don't know how to take care of yourself, then you're going to add more stress to the other person that need help. So you have to be strong. So I'm focusing more on helping out the person to have a lot more resilient and a mental health herself, so that she can look after the needed one, right? So I got one case. I think last time we talked to this called Margaret. She's a very good person. Her husband got schizophrenia, but the husband lived in her mental world and all that. And then she found out, why am I going to change my husband? Because when he lived in that schizophrenia world, he's very happy. He's happy with his imagining world. But if it's the wife that cannot accept that the husband behave this manner, so it's the wife that's suffering, but the husband is not suffering. The person that suffers from schizophrenia doesn't suffer because I'm so happy. I imagine that I have this world and all that world, and I live happily. I'm a rich man in that world, But the wife cannot accept the husband, so it's actually the wife that needs counseling, not so much about the husband, right? So, like you say, if you got family member who have a lot of all these things, be kind to them and then take care of your own, rather than trying to fix his problem. Fix your own problem, right? Like what Bante said, right? Our problem is because we crave. We don't want him to have that schizophrenia. We don't want him to have that disease. It's our own craving, So it's our own issue, not his issue. His issue he can handle himself. You have to handle your own issue. Okay, I hope that answered your questions.
Thank you, Brother Tong. Miss Xiao, any input on this general case?
There's a saying, it is impossible to wake someone who fakes sleeping. So if you think that person is suffering, but he said he's not, sometimes we will think that what is our position to tell him what he feels? Of course, maybe he is suffering, maybe he doesn't notice about it, then you find the fact, like Dr. Albert just said, is he having insomnia or headache, physical reaction toward this suffering? Then there's a proof to show him, see, maybe when you seek help, this will disappear. Or there's another way. I have a client who refused to see counselor, refused to get treatments, and when she come to see me, I asked, she said, I don't think I have a problem, but everyone keep telling me I have. So since you are giving free counseling service at that time, so I just come. You know why? Because on the pamphlet I said time limited. So they take this as an excuse. See, go see her. See, only 1 month. After this month, no free stuff. That's the reason she comes. So we have to find this person's reason for why he refused to seek help. Sometimes it may be too personal that he do not want to admit it. Okay, about free resources, actually I want to share, but I didn't add it in my slide. You can search Lifeline. There's a 生命线协会. Recently I found that they have a page called Other Resources. Lifeline itself is free. I think some days they even provide 24 hours free hotline. They have a page set Other Resources. They list out several resources that you can use. You can call befrienders. They have Agape website, everything in it. You also can throw this link to him. When he feels like asking for help, he will do it privately. Sometimes they just do not want to do it with the other parties knowing. He just do not want his friends or family members knowing it. So there might be a way.
Thank you, Ms. Yap. So please pass the actual contact to us. So Brother Michael and myself, and we will pass this to the EXCO, so you all can approach EXCO to get the proper a way to get the helps from online. Any other questions from the attendees here? Then, among the speakers want to ask each other. There's cross-talking. What about online?
No, I received no questions.
Yes, Wendy. Yes. Yeah.
They are very silent. Wendy.
Yeah, I have one question. I see the important message here is actually to develop loving and kindness. Is there any the most effective or the best way to develop this characteristic so that we are able to help those people who are in need and spread the love?
If I may add on to this question, Ajahn promote kindness. Other than mindfulness, it should be kindness. We invite all the speakers to contribute to this, how to promote kindness, loving kindness, metta, and kindness, mindfulness plus kind. Brother Yutong, start the ball rolling.
Oh, kindness, okay. I think there are a lot of things to, like for example, the speech, right? So, you see, the science actually tells us that our mind works in a negative manner, negative bias, like what Ms. Yap mentioned, right? It's for survival, you watch out for danger because, your mind is always negative because you need to watch out for danger in order to survive. So negativity is in our gene, part of our gene, right? And being kind and being all these things is actually against our human nature. You think about it. Because we all fight for the same resources. If I limited resources, when the resources is limited, when I give it to you, I got no resources. I will die, you will live. So killing one another is actually human nature, right? So we actually have to make a lot of effort in providing kindness. Okay, so what we can do is that sometimes we can do, that's how you need to put in a lot of effort, like what Bante mentioned, effort to every in-breath and out-breath. Okay, of course, maybe that's a bit too much. But what we do is that sometimes we always remind ourselves that today I need to do something that is good, provide kindness. Or people come, and then you always look at it more from helping the person perspective, right? So we can do it in metta meditation. So how I do is I share my experience. In work, we used to have one very irritating colleague. Everybody don't like him. So when you don't like the person, naturally when you talk to him, you have that kind of behavior whereby he can sense it, right? Okay. So when I learned this metta meditation from Bante Sujato, I said, okay, maybe I try it on him, put him in front of me and then picture, then wish him may he be well and happy, right? Then surprisingly, after a while, when I talk to him, my tone changes. When I see him the time, it doesn't really irritate me, that's all. So maybe this is something like self-hypnotize. Actually hypnotize that, or may he be well and happy and all these things. So this is one way. In fact, Buddha talked about 5 ways. It's like that, right? Look at the positive side of the person, right? And then last but not least, but if the person has any positive things, you always have a lot of compassion for him, because in Chinese they call it 可恶之人必有可怜之处，可怜之人必有可恶之处. Okay, let me explain. People are very pitiful, always being bullied by people. You feel him being always bullied by people, whoever, or he's kind of 可怜, but actually he can be very hateful, sometimes. That means people who are hateful can be very pitiful, right? Or sometimes people who are hateful can also be pitiful. Because like some of these perpetrators, all these things, maybe they are young, they are being treated that manner also as well. They're being brought up in a very harsh environment, right? So we can always practice a lot of compassion for the person, right? So non-judgmental, don't judge. That's one way we can do, right? Don't judge, see, or he's bad person, or just treat him as a person who he's suffering, and then we try to alleviate his suffering. Use a lot more compassion, right? Maybe Bante can elaborate more on that.
So if you want to worry, to plan how to help this person, is that person okay? How can I help this person? It's considered restlessness and worry. In daily life, yes, you need to use this to solve problems. If not, you cannot do anything. But we tend to do this the whole day. So the mind starts to worry the whole day, how to help this person, how to help this person. Then becomes depression over time. Because this thinking process is very draining. Very draining. So the more middle way kind of compassion is actually very recharging. Supposed to recharge. You don't see like, the Buddha image or the Kuan Yin image pulling a long face or frowning or not having depression. You see them smiling, right? So there must be something in the compassion that can make you peaceful. That can make you peaceful. So the way we understand compassion may not be correct. The conventional compassion, we help until burnout or help until depression. So something is wrong with the we call the right view. So we always think about first how to help ourselves, how to uncling from the aggregates first. Learn to recharge. So that is the middle way practice, and then we can extend the help. So that is the everyday circular life practice. So we need both.
Don't worry, we have a lot of answers to that. Let's listen to other speakers on this kindness. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Your turn.
So I think you want to develop something to do something. There are only 2 ways you will do it. Number 1, you see the benefit of it. Number 2, you see the harm of it. You see the benefit of it, then you will do. You see the harm, you won't do. Right? So for me, if you start develop the kindness, you will see the benefit. What is the benefit? You will be happier. Number two, you'll be less jealous about other people. And you'll find your relationship with other people getting better. Why metta is a really powerful weapon? Number one, it's a mental rehearsal with people. No? Like I see someone with your audience, before I meet you today, I've been thinking, today I see the audience, I hope they are happy, hope they are well, they are really good, very nice, no, they don't shoot me, no, I talk so nice, they won't criticize me, or whatever. No, I have this kind of positive feeling for you. Can you feel it? You feel it? You see it, when you look at Dr. Quek, you say, wow, Dr. Quek looks kind to me, you know. She looks like someone wishing, giving a lot of metta to me, you know. And you feel it. Then what is the outcome? Good relationship. Your relationship and me, we can feel, you know, like the signal, like that, you can feel, you know. Then you feel the relationship change. I personally, I feel my life after practicing all this change. I seldom have enemy, almost no enemy, one or two probably. But in general, really few enemy, but unless really nasty one. But I tell you what I do. Every day in the morning, I will do a thing. First, I will wish myself happy. Then I wish my mom happy. After I wish my mom happy, I wish all my sibling, my wife, my kids happy. Then I wish my friends happy. Then I wish my teachers and all those people happier than me happy. I wish all those people had the financially better than me happier. I wish those people who are, what else I wish? All this, you can see it. So what I don't over push myself. I would like for say one category, those people who are richer than me. I will choose one person which I think he richer than me, and I really wish he's happy. But if with that, it actually cut down your jealousy, you know. And when you're less jealous, are you happier? Of course. You see people with better car. I still drive my 10 years old Camry, second hand. But it doesn't bother me. I see people drive really good car. It doesn't bother me, you know. I still wish him happy. When you have less this kind of ill will, hatred in your life, of course you will be happy. And then you see yourself, the benefit of it, and the relationship with other people, and everything become good, better. Slowly, then you will develop this kind of mentality, this kind of goodwill towards people. And you see the good, the more you see the good, you will keep on doing it until you reach Nirvana, I think. Okay, that's what I want to say.
Thank you, Dr. Quek. So you all are very interested in Dr. Quek's mentions content just now. Don't worry, we have it in Metta Lodge. Actually, this one infringe our copyrights. Metta. This is a metta meditation, and we have actually 11 benefits of a metta meditation. 11.
Copyright of the Buddha.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. I have some comments and also questions that I received from the web. I'd like to read it out. First is from Tony. I concur with Ms. Yao with regards to the patient's own willingness to seek help. Example, like seeking smoke cessation or stoppage, right? If a patient comes for smoking cessation because his mom kept pestering him, or maybe his girlfriend asked him to stop smoking, he's not a good patient. This patient himself must have the willingness to stop smoking, then hypnosis will be more successful, right? So that is the message on the Zoom. And there's one question from Joyce. Thanks to all the speakers. My brother's family, his wife and his eldest son have depressive order. And so whenever he met us for gathering, he will pour out all his sorrows. We can only listen and remind him to continue to pray and do dana and transfer merits to them. He accepts that this is his karma, and he have to face the fate himself. May I know what other things, as his siblings, we can do to help him? Thank you.
Okay, I think what Joyce as a siblings did very well, because they allowed the brother to ventilate. Sometimes I learned this when I dealing with adolescent. Sometimes adolescents wanted to talk to us not because they want a solution. They just need someone to listen. Yep. So sometimes we no need to give solution. teachers and doctor is the worst listener. Why? Because when they come to us, means they need something to sort out. Like you come headache, I need to make sure that the head is okay. Right? So we have the tendency to give solution. Teacher also same thing. So that's why teacher, sometimes the youngsters will complain to me that, they don't feel being understood. Right? And then he also find a way that he can accept this is the thing that he need to do from the religious point of view, which I think is good. It's only if he felt overwhelmed, right? It's more than what he or she capable to do, then maybe they need to be channeled to someone more professional, right? Might not need a doctor, might be a counselor, might be good friends, or maybe religious leaders. So sometimes that will help in terms of easing the burden, and also the caretaker burden is a thing also, right? When because she used the word sorrow, so it's a very taxing kind of words. So feeling a lot of maybe the caretakers also feel the burden. So the caretakers need to be taken care of as well. So if let's say the caretakers feel the stress and so on, they need someone to talk to. Yeah. So if let's say need mental health professional, by all means, right? Okay.
Yeah. So normally people with depression, right, they always look at things in a negative manner, right? So positive psychology is actually training people to look at positive things. That means you train them to look at positive things. So maybe you can remind them that, okay, what are the things that we can be grateful for? So ask them to keep a journal to say, okay, maybe every night you write down something that you are grateful for, right? So practicing that, then after a while, they tend to have this positive energy. So that will allow them to give them some positive energy to carry on with their depressive state. So that means seeing some light in the tunnel. So that's something that you can help them, remind them of all the good things that they have happened, or remind them of, I think the people tend to complain a lot. So that is the issue here. So how to help them to be more grateful, right? That is one way we can look into it.
Miss Yap.
I think because Joyce said they are already coping it. Is there anything else they can do? If he willing to, it definitely will be helpful to talk to a counselor or a therapist, because we all learn different techniques to deal with all kinds of issues, but not one size fits all. A counselor needs to talk to the person, understand his habits, what his preference, and we introduce suitable coping style for him. So it will be definitely helpful if he willing to talk to a counselor or therapist.
Yeah, so, but sometimes the best counselor are not we, are the family member themselves, because they see them very often, and then sometimes the family member action can reflect in themselves, you see. So like what Albert said, right, listen to them and all these things. So by listening to them, you are really a good counselor already, right? So these are some of the skill. Maybe they just go and attend some course about listening skill, how to have that, right? And then have all these things. So it may help them in that way, yeah. Oh.
Very good, Brother Tong. So in order for us to learn how to help other people, we need to learn. We need to come and attend counseling courses to be conducted by our counselors. And with that, we equip ourselves. We can help people. And most important, I believe, next, when one fine day, ourselves go into trouble, we know how to counsel ourselves. Don't you agree? So equip ourselves to help people and help ourselves.
Actually, yes. the most important skill as a counselor, the first thing we learn is about listening skill, right? Listening is a very important skill that you need to pick up. So it's something that we need to learn. Right?
Is it because of when we are listening, the guy who is speaking out is also doing some reflection
yes,
by him or herself,
yes.
Right?
But at the same time, you also find that if finally somebody willing to listen to me, like what Dr. Albert said, right? A lot of times, they are not here for solution. They just want to have a listening ear.
Yeah, but talking to human is very different when I talk to my dog, right? Yeah.
It's the same thing. I mean, just like when you talk to your dog, right? The dog responds to you, right? So how do you feel when your dog responds to you?
He will shake his tail.
No. I mean, how do you feel when your dog responds to you?
I feel comfortable.
Right? But what happens if you talk to the dog and the dog walk away?
And then I feel better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing also as well. So imagine that the person talk to you, how you respond to the person. So how you respond is actually a skill that as a counselor you have to learn.
I see.
Right?
All right.
Like for example, when you talk to me, I was looking at my clock. I was, even the way they sit, you will teach how to sit.
Body languages.
Body languages, right? So it's one way that we can learn. Like sometimes your brother, maybe Joyce, the brother, talk to him, but you're not very interested. Always same old story again. Then you felt that the pressure is not released at all, but rather you say, what we always do is that we call it paraphrasing, right? So when the brother talk about this, do you mean this? Or sometimes even ask questions, or you try to repeat what he say.
So empathy is important.
Yes, empathy. Yeah. So by showing empathy, already half is okay already, right? I've got 92-year-old grandma that come and talk to me. I got to speak to her in Cantonese. Honestly, you can't help much. 92 years old already, right? I mean, all her problem, all her family problem. Right? But by listening to that, she cried, and then after when she walked out, she tell her daughter, this is the first time, don't know in how many years, that finally somebody understand what I'm facing. Right? Seriously, I think she a lot of relief already. I mean, the problem wasn't solved.
Finally, find someone who can listen to Cantonese.
Yeah. So even the counselor, sometimes we got to pretend to be interested in your problem. Right? I mean, not pretending, but actually be really concerned, so the person can tell. Right?
Correct.
Okay, any other question from the audience here?
Maybe the last question, if you have.
Last question?
Yeah.
At the meantime, maybe I want your permission to make a promotion for Metta Lodge and Buddha Dhamma. I think Buddha Dhamma has got the answer package, full package for solving our problems. If you do Dana, Sila, Bhavana every day, you're happy, and day to day get better and better. So this package where you can get it, Metta Lodge.
So we will now present prizes. Sorry, not prizes, but souvenirs. Sorry, there's no prize, there's no winner here. But really appreciate all the speakers taking their time. I mean, it's a month of time to deliver such a meaningful talk to us. Really sadhu and appreciate all the speakers.
Yes.
And now we'd like to invite the chairman of Metta Lodge to present.
Before that, can we also show appreciation to the committee also as well, the hard work? Like show gratitude, right? By example, we need to show gratitude to the...
Our usual way,
Thank you.
clapping, as well as say sadhu 3 times.
Sadhu,
sadhu, sadhu.
Luckily, nothing.
So remember, we have to recollect all the good things that they have done, right?
And
so
our technical team,
the technical team also as well.
The technical team, Brother Singh, together with his just married wife, is
Yeah.
dedicating a lot of effort in supporting at the back.
And also, last but not least, to yourself, remember, self-love is actually very important.
Yes.
Thank you for yourself for coming, making an effort to be here.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you to the audience. Thank you.
Yeah. So would you? I think we will present a souvenir at the ground, so that the speakers can relieve themselves from the stage pressure.
Very stressful up here.
Stressful. Okay. So later on, we will proceed to the one-to-one counseling.
Yes.
All the tables are labeled already.
So all the speakers, I mean, it's a rare occasions where you can see experts from all the aspect, right? Please take this opportunity to talk to whichever expert that you like. You can go to PHRA, you can go and see Dr. Albert or Dr. Kwek. Grab them for this free service. Okay, and if you want, you can get their private contact and then continue to look for them at their center or their hospital. And of course, they will charge. I don't know. But this session is free. All right, so grab it. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And now we'd like to just one more session. Can we invite all the speakers to come in front? Just take one more photo before, because later on will be free and easy, and then there will be a lot of chaos, right, in the hall. Just hold on for a while. We'll take one photo. After that, you can proceed with the private session. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So now you can see the tables. There are 5 tables labeled there. With different professions, there are neurologists, counselors, psychiatrists, spiritual teacher, and a hypnotherapist. Who would like to get hypnotized with Miss Yap? You can go upon. Yeah. Please stay on. It's a free service as long as you like, as long as they are available. Okay.